I'm Thomas Simpson, and we're going to talk about Exposition Park, which is a neighborhood I lived in a couple of years ago and have spent a lot of time in. So Expo Park is sort of sandwiched in between Deep Elm and Fair Park. Fair Park is where it gets its name from, and it's a really cool mix of sort of apartments and lofts and artist spaces and some retail and galleries and things like that in these early 20th century brick buildings. That it's a really sort of nice, unusual neighborhood as far as what you would find elsewhere in Dallas.
What kind of people live around there?
Probably, I guess you'd call it creative types, right? There's lots of artists and musicians and a fair number of young people, but not exclusively young people. I think there's a lot of people that have lived there, that sort of chose that neighborhood when it first started kind of redeveloping into these like lofts, and have been there for a long time. But it's got a pretty good, it's got a good neighborhood feel. Definitely, when I lived there, recognized people I saw walking around all the time, and knew a handful of my neighbors, and knew the neighborhood spots that everybody went to.
Cool. What are the neighborhood spots? What do people do?
Well, they've changed a little bit in the last few years. So when I was living there, Amsterdam Bar and the Meridian Room were kind of my big haunts, which were Amsterdam had a jazz night every Monday, and Meridian Room had really good sandwiches. But Craft and Growler is there, which is a craft beer spot. There's the Ochre House, which is an independent theater on Exposition, which is pretty cool. There's some other galleries like 500X and Central Track and some other the Reading Room, places like that. And of course, Fair Park, which is a great place to have so convenient. Go home after work and go for a walk or a bike ride in Fair Park, just having it right there, which is really nice.
Yeah. What do you think the biggest strengths of the Expo Park are?
I think the people there are great, and they have a love for the neighborhood. I think the building stock is pretty fantastic. It's totally unique within older Dallas neighborhoods, I think. I think the adjacency to Fair Park, and also I failed to mention this earlier, the dark green line runs right along Perry between the neighborhood and Fair Park, which is really convenient and really makes the access. The neighborhood is super close to a lot of things, but the Dart Rail then only kind of enhances the access that you have.
For sure. If you could change anything about Expo Park to make it better, what would you?
I would make more of it. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, it's a pretty small neighborhood, and I'll be curious to see if they can, fill in some of the parking lots, and can they grow up at all without messing up the feel for the neighborhood. It does have some like retail vacancy that would be interesting to see how they could fill. I think it would be nice if the feel and the look and the people of Expo Park could expand a little bit without losing anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great neighborhood.
And if you were describing it to someone who had never been to Dallas before, how would you describe it?
I'd say it's like a small urban arts enclave that that I think would really surprise you, because it's outside of your expectations probably for what you would think you would find in Dallas.